Well, hello everybody. Welcome back to Four Lights Wellness. My name is Omid, and today we're going to talk about how to feel better. I know it's a big promise, but I guarantee you there is a step-by-step formula that you've got to go through. Otherwise, you're not going to have success in getting over, let's say, old traumas, baggage, reacting negatively to situations. And the first step that I'm going to tell you about is the hardest one. So there's going to be plenty of videos that come out on this. There's some worksheets I'm going to develop as well. But what is your love? What is your dream? What is your objective? And I mean this in a micro sense of, how you actually want to feel better, like happier or more joy or creativity. But I also mean this from a macro in life. What are you actually here to accomplish? Now, the example I'm going to be using in this video is just one. There's 100 of them that I could use. But for me, one of the biggest things that matters to me is being a really, really good father and a husband. Those are my dreams, my goals, my loves, is to do that for my kid. And a lot of that I won't get into because I didn't have the greatest parenting structure growing up, so I didn't have a good example of that. And one of my biggest fears and nightmares is to be a bad parent and impart a lot of that same stuff onto my daughter. So if I don't have that in mind, when I start actually getting into the SMART goals, the specific and the measurable and those types of things, I might start to create a little bit of change. I might feel better in the short term, let's say 2 to 3 weeks, but something then will happen in my life and it'll derail me and I'll go back to all of my old habits. It's the same thing that happens in fitness all the time. People say, oh, I want to lose 100 pounds. Great. They start going to the gym, they get a couple workouts in, and then one of their friends invites them to Vegas and they do all of the boozy stuff that happens there, and now they're off their goal. If you have a strong enough passion that you're really trying to go after in life, like for example, for me, being a really good husband and father, I now set these goals and I stick to them. That's the biggest, hardest part, is these first two. But now let's say, for example, okay, great. I've got a goal. I want to be a better husband and a father. Well, better is also amazingly relative, right? How do I measure that, right? Do I yell one less time a week, a month, a year? Do I slightly put a better smile on my face just to feel a little better? No, I want to put measurable things to this. And this is where making some stuff up actually really matters. So for example, if my daughter's having a hissy fit or a tantrum, I have a specific reaction that I want to impart on myself, keeping a neutral tone the entire time, not raising my voice. I want to get down to her eye level, right? I want to have a calm, comfortable environment for her to be in. I also am going to say, okay, well, on that metric, right, how am I doing right now? Well, I used to be at like a 2. being a father to a 3-year-old is a little tricky. So do I want to go to a 10 in 1 week? No, it's probably not realistic, right? But how about if I say, okay, great. Right now I'm at a 2, 3, 4 weeks down the road, I want to be able to see this at closer to a 5 or a 6. That's pretty realistic and attainable. And I can measure that out, especially a 3-year-old. She gives me plenty of examples every single day to practice this skill. So that's one easy example of this. Now, when it comes to step 3, we've got to set ourselves up for success. For example, if I'm trying to lose weight, keeping chips and snacks and ice cream around the house, not a great idea. So I've got to put in habits into my life. For example, meditation, Tai Chi, Qigong, yoga, exercise, anything that will keep my brain a little bit more in a calm state personally. So that way, when the fin hits the shan, right, with my daughter going crazy, I actually have the capability from a habitual perspective to do that. The environment, I can clean that up, right? My home office, if it's chaotic, my brain is chaotic. And then when I get called out into controlling a tantrum, I might be a little bit more chaotic and amped up myself. Better yet, why don't I clean up the environment so my daughter has less tantrums, right? And this turns into a lot of different choices that I have to make. I have to decide, hey, is the thing that I'm doing, is the thing that I'm creating in my house and in my environment, is the relationship that I'm building here a choice that I'm consciously making, or is it an unconscious suboptimal choice that's going to make the situations worse moving forward? And finally, the last thing of this is practice. This is the next hardest step for a lot of people because they make a decision, they figure out what their love is, they get all of their goals, they set up the environment, and they say, I'm done, right? Never going to screw up again. No, sorry, you got to practice. Let's say from a muscle perspective, when a baby's first born and they're starting to try and learn how to do things, there's a tabula rasa, completely clean slate, no software installed. So it only takes them like 300 to 350-ish reps to learn how to do something before they're on to the next movement pattern. Problem is, when we're adults, for muscles, it takes about 10 times that. right? Once we've already learned, let's say, for example, it's a squat. I've got to do 3,500 properly executed squats to rewrite the pattern. And when we're talking about feeling, it's no different. We really need to get it into our neural network, our neurons themselves, to actually wire into feeling better about any situation or emotion or anything like that. So if you don't think you have time to practice this stuff, I guarantee you do. Right? Here's how you do it. The next time you got to go number 2, don't take your phone with you. Sit there and practice the emotion that you want to feel. Let's say, for example, it's joyous, right? Or happiness that you want to feel. Close your eyes. The body will still do what it's going to do. And now I want you to imagine some situation that's ever happened in your life. And if nothing ever has happened that's happy in your life, just make one up. Something that would make you really happy. Have a dream that you just say, oh, if this happened, it would make me the happiest person in the world. And then practice feeling what actually physiologically happens in your body. Most people will feel happy, tingling warmness right along their chest line through here. Some people will be lower in the belly, but most people, it'll be right here. Put a smile on your face. Practicing the smile, right? It's silly at first, but actually getting the musculature system to practice these emotions, to get more confident in your awareness of when you're actually feeling these happy emotions really does help quite a bit. You have time, I guarantee it. And when you find yourself in situations that are going to throw you off of this, back to the tantrum situation, before I engage, I take just 2 seconds to take a breath, put a smile on my face, and then I come to it with that now practiced emotion that I really want to feel. And I'm so much better after even just, a couple months of doing this. She hasn't been 3 for that long. Don't worry, I've not been horrible forever. But I had the thought process of I want to be this way in the first place. I set the goals for myself and the measurable specific situations that I wanted to be in. I set myself up for success by controlling the habits, the environment, and the choices that I'm making. And then I practice. If you have more than just that 5 minutes on the toilet, that's why people meditate. That's why people do Qigong, Tai Chi, journaling, all of these things to practice. Now, one of the things that I want to mention before we wrap this video up is if you're having any trouble with this, if you really do want to feel better, I do have an entire course. It's called Healing Emotions, Trauma Release Exercises for Stress that really hits on all of these points from a physiological perspective. So if you're having trouble, look for the link for that course in the description below this video. I hope this information is very helpful to you guys. As always, have a happy and healthy rest of your day. See you in the next one.